Hey, yo, YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Louis Seif here. Um, I've been away from YouTube for a while, I guess. And I guess it's because I think the manosphere has said all it needs to say about gender relations in this society. And yet, I don't think we have the courage to actually address some of the real important issues that are facing us men, namely the rise of despair deaths in the white community, and of course, the ever present rate of despair deaths in the African American community, namely your suicides, your homicides, your intentional incarcerations, your congenital heart failure from not seeing doctors, the depressions, the drug addictions. We don't really have the courage to talk about these issues yet. Me neither, but I guess, look, let's change the subject a bit, right? Let's talk about Marxism. I've been getting into a lot of arguments, and I've been sticking my foot knee deep in the asses of some of these YouTube Marxists. And the problem with them is that, oh my God, they think that we're not onto them. They think that their utopian ideal of what is best for us is not some petty jealousy scheme so that you could, instead of raising yourself up to the level of a producer and an achiever, you want to bring the bar down to where everyone is just proletariats. Instead of being Ayn Randian superheroes, you want to turn this all into ants or blades of grass. Because after all, if a grass blade grows higher than his brother, do we not chop him down? That's where I think it funds a lot of the rhetoric of, oh, confiscate the means of production. See, gentlemen, the jig is fucking up, all right? We understand what you mean. You want power and control over people you think are above you. You want to make them acquiesce to the will of the quote-unquote proletariat, which is a huddled mass of different values, but mainly it's a collective of jealous, underachieving assholes. Seriously, Bernie Sanders, where the fuck is he going to pay for all this? Universal college for everybody. Are the universities and the teachers and the tenured professors going to take a pay cut? No. Everybody is going to get everything that they desire. The world will open up and pastries will fall from the sky at the price of you opening your fucking mouth. That's an Ayn Rand quote. Who is going to pay for your fucking utopia? Worse yet. Who is going to pick the oranges? Who is going to get the beachfront properties? Who is going to get the Hawaii condos? And who's going to have to move to Wyoming? How are you going to coerce individuals to work for you when you pretty much, look, do you understand that when you start using Marxism, food becomes the new currency, right? Vegetables and probably GMO fish. GMO vegetables and GMO fish is going to replace the dollar. Or when you forcefully take the means of production by force, you turn force into the new dollar. Why don't you get that? At what point did you realize, what depths of evasion allows you to think that you are going to take paper money, replace it with bullets, then I am going to allow you the freaking luxury of being ignorant to Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, Castro. I'm waiting. Under what grounds should I allow you to be ignorant about the consequences of your actions? You could evade reality. You just can't avoid the consequences of evading reality. A wise woman said that. And which brings me to Philosophy Tube and his incredible disservice to his patrons and his viewers with that bullshit Saul Alinsky-like Ayn Rand takedown where he basically told his viewers, see, dumpster fire, that is Ayn Rand. And then had the unmitigated gall to assume that he remains to be an academic. How dare you, sir? Ali, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Come on, I expect better of you. It is a very simple principle. A Russian philosopher saw the fruits of Marxism, which is basically Instead of money, people started trading blackmail and violence and said, you know what? Money is good. In fact, capitalism allows people to build their self-esteem so that they could fight against alienation. Even in an automated society, you should have the desire to fight, to make something of yourself, to manifest your own idealism, you know? And capitalism allows you to be rewarded for that. So capitalism builds self-esteem. Self-esteem prolongs your existence. Is that what you call a flat earth theory? Ollie, Reich-Wing Watch, all you guys, freaking Danger Mouse, all you YouTube Marxists, what the fuck are you guys thinking? Honestly. See, I mean, god dang it. Fidel Castro raped 20,000 women. Why? Because you gave him the power to. Chairman Mao had fresh virgins waiting for him every fucking single day in his life as he put people in concentration camps and told men and women that gender is a non-entity. Fidel fucking Castro outlawed video games. Why would you want to give that kind of power to one individual who supposedly speaks for the proletariat? That huddled mass of witch doctors and fucking Attilas. It's another Iron Rant. Look, I understand Marxism. I understand that as capitalism gets more and more sophisticated, as automation becomes more and more prominent, fewer and fewer men are going to have the ability to self-actualize with a hard day's work. That ultimately we probably all are going to end up on welfare anyway, or the government dollar, or the government peso, like they call it in Cuba. What I don't get is why you would romanticize petty jealousy, lust, greed, envy, sloth, wrath, vanity. You guys are a bunch of you're pseudo intellectual. You took this drawn out book of campaign promises called the Communist Manifesto, and you just keep preaching to the choir over and over again, and all the non-believers. You ended up turning the Communist Manifesto and the dream of a proletariat revolution into a new theocracy with absolutely no basis of reality. Period. Okay? Ayn Rand, with all her faults, slowly edged her bets. She said that capitalism should always be studied. In other words, that they should always be a positive profit margin, that taxes should never go above 51% if the social safety net could allow it. Now, she was terrible on the social safety net, I'll grant you that, but there is something to be said for her interpretation of the benefits of capitalism. She wrote many of books, and this is something that we do a lot. When it comes to Ayn Rand, we end up just putting everything under the guise of Ayn Rand, but it is really not like that. It is Ayn Rand, her background on is philosophy. Financially speaking, you have the works of Alan Greenspan's Defense of Capitalism. In the realms of psychology and motivation, you have Nathaniel Branden, well-renowned psychologist. And for politics, you have Leonard Peikoff. It is really a collective of ideas that is not only, it's more on the lines of authoritarian self-help, Randian objectivism, if you will. But I digress. And since I go by the name of Louis Cypher, since I consider myself a devil's advocate, I am going to try to merge Rand and Marx. See, we have a specific problem. Need. From which according to his ability, to which according to his need. Fine. Capitalism is from which according to his vulnerability, to which according to his greed. Now, the good thing about capitalism is that you could legislate against vulnerability. You could have warning labels. You could have people become informed shoppers, which is something that we practice a lot, consumer affairs and whatnot. Capitalism does not allow for the curtailing of need, because the more you need, the more children you have out of wedlock, the more irresponsible you are, the more that you are a moocher, a looter, a pathetic, bottom-scraping grubber of social resources, the more that's coming to you. That's what makes capitalism good. We make the consumer informed. You cannot take back social safety net programs once they've been established. Like the Affordable Health Care Act has so many problems with it, among which is that doctors will not take that great of a pay cut. They will just cut off people who can't afford their services. Furthermore, I don't see how affordable healthcare could work without militarizing the doctors and giving someone orders to Wyoming and Alaska and someone else orders to Florida and Hawaii. How do you fix that? Don't know. Like I said, who's going to pick your fucking oranges? You know? You guys don't think about that shit. You're just following the campaign promises of some fat, lazy, barnacle-infested jackass from fucking 60, 50 years ago. But that's another thing. Another key point. Innovation. Capitalism innovates. Communism steals innovation. So let's follow that route, okay? Let's say that, okay, we wait until the right technologies get built and we just don't grant them patents, which is probably the most rational way to do communism. But if I would be so bold as to make a slight suggestion on how you could make communism better. Who is John Galt? Who's John Galt? John Galt is an engineer who developed a zero-point energy device, a engine that could draw atmospheric electricity from out of nowhere and power vehicles and office buildings and his utopia, his capitalist utopia. For communism to ever work, one of you lazy motherfuckers better get on that goddamn engineer's table and shit me a John Galt engine. Because then you fucking feckless, lazy, slimy layabouts could have something to fuel your rooftop farming, your motorized cars, your buildings, your affordable housing. See, from free power, you could have free food. And then maybe you could have free internet bandwidth so that you could teach more people. After that, then you could maybe come up with a powerful computer who could scan you and give you a diagnosis. See, let computers be your slave instead of doctors and lawyers and achievers. See, stop trying to conquer man and conquer math, you lazy lima bean motherfuckers. That is the secret to communism, my friends. Take part in innovation. Actualize, self-actualize. Instead of freaking beating Bill Gates at his job, instead of going after Warren Buffett, instead of going after Donald Trump, how about you go after Newton's third law? How about you create energy instead of that? No, it was the second law? I don't remember. Instead of trying to beat the Koch brothers, why don't you beat Newton? Why don't you make that mathematical equation that proves that energy could be pulled out of anywhere? Now, bear in mind, I've studied this a lot. I love free energy news. I read it all the time. And one of these days, I'm going to make a video at some of the top choices that I have. But that is your challenge, Marxists. It's not to go and vote for Santa Claus for the umpteenth time. Because all they're going to do is they're going to destroy the value of a dollar. And watch that. Watch the day when the dollar is destroyed. You will see bullets become the new currency. You will see violence become the new standard of civil discourse. You will see your utopia turn into another fucking dystopia just like everyone else. God damn it. Give me a free energy device, then you could start talking about Marxist utopias, all right? That's all I had to say. This is your boy Louis Cypher. Ali, you son of a bitch.